everyone, welcome to another amazing episode of On This Table. On This Table is the show where we bring you issues confronting life and the world at large, and of course bring possible solutions to these life issues. Okay, so today I have a really very interesting topic to talk about, and I am not going to discuss this alone. I have a guest in the house, but before I introduce my guest, let's go on this very quick break as usual. I'll be right back.
KINGSPRIMETV, your one-stop entertainment platform for live sport, news, top-notch Nollywood movies. Please log on to www.kingsprimetv.com or download our app from the Google Play Store or iOS to get entertainment just the way you like it.
Welcome back. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about youth and drug abuse. It is no longer news that drug abuse have turned out to become a public issue. It has turned out to become a global health and social issue. So today we're going to be talking about youth and drug abuse, and I have a guest in the house. She's a child specialist, and her name is Mrs. Joy Genio. What? Okay. I'm sorry.
You're not absolutely wrong. So
okay.
Genio is the surname.
Okay, Genio.
Yes.
All right. So you are a child specialist, and you work with these kids a lot. All right. So let's talk about what you do. Tell us a little about what you do.
Professionally, I'm a special needs educator.
Okay.
But invariably, I get the opportunities to work with teenagers, with youth, and I also volunteer for so many other organizations, and we come across cases where these children have some of these damages because of the effect their parents inflicted into them during pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
And we trace it back to drugs.
To drugs.
Some of them. Yes.
Okay, so we'll come to that. So we are going to be talking about youth and drug abuse. First of all, let's know, what is drug abuse?
Well, drug abuse is like the frequent, incessant use of drugs. And by drugs, now I'm not just talking about hard drugs.
Okay.
Even over-the-counter drugs included. Yes. In methods that are harmful or in amounts that are harmful to the user and, of course, to others in the society.
Okay.
So that's just in a nutshell. There are so many other schools of thought that will give you bigger definition, but for the layman, that's it.
Okay, so why is drug abuse prevalent amongst the youth?
The fact is that they are the target audience.
Oh, okay.
As bad as it may seem to everyone, teenagers, youth are usually the ones that happen to be at the eye of these issues. When it comes to the society, they are always the target of most of these issues, and the major reason being peer pressure.
Peer pressure, okay.
It's always the key, because they are easily influenced and they get that like adults. I mean, you can't come and tell me to do what I don't want to do. You can't, except you're doing it at gunpoint.
Okay.
But when I know the rights and my moral standards, it's difficult for you to pressure me. However, for youth and teenagers, the tendency to still sway from one part to the other still lies there. So they're usually the targets.
Okay, so does this have to do with self-low esteem for youth? Because for them to be easily influenced, something should be behind it.
It plays a role.
Okay.
That's the fact. It plays a role.
Okay.
Environment matters a lot.
Oh.
You find children or youth or teenagers in environments that they are hoping for a better one. And you know, the almighty American dream and the things they see all over, and they are longing for it. And then someone comes to tell them, oh, you just need to do this and do this and this, and you will get what you want. So because of the vision they always want, and knowing that in their present circumstances they can't get it, so they begin to sway. So yes, low self-esteem can really play that role. Okay, so
is there a reason, or are there reasons why these youths engage in abusing drugs?
So many reasons there are.
Okay.
We've mentioned peer pressure. Sometimes they are not, it's not their personal decision.
Okay.
It happens.
Okay.
And like I said earlier on, that desire to be something else. And advertising companies are not helping matters. They hype these alcohol and all of this glamorous living, and the average youth wants that living. So you find that they tend to tilt towards it, and they just tell you, oh, it's a simple thing, just do this. And you know the problem with things like this, the moment you start, it's difficult to stop. So gradually they don't even know when they move from point A to point Q, and that's it.
Okay. So you earlier on you talked about parents. So what role do parents play in this in making their children abuse drugs?
Oh, don't get me started when it comes to parents and this. We have traced by research has shown that parents play very serious major roles when it comes to making children or raising children that end up becoming drug abusers.
Okay.
The first thing is negligence. They neglect these children. When we find parents that, and sometimes it's not their fault, in quote, they're hustling for daily bread. They're trying to bring food to the table. The problem is they pay less attention to the people they are bringing the food to. And then you come home and the person you're supposed to be giving the food to is not available. Emotionally, physically, you've lost them.
Okay.
So in the daily hustle and tussle of life, parents tend to neglect these children. Some of them are not very observant. They don't know who these children work with. They don't know who their friends are. They don't know who is around them. So, and another thing is still the fact that some families don't have family rules. When you have a family and your children are the people in your home understand that these are our values, these are our rules, and you from beginning you begin to state it every day, you find that it's difficult for the child to derail. In fact, the scriptures usually says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. But when those things are not there, when there is no proper upbringing from that infancy stage, I mean, you have played a role in creating a possible drug abuser.
Okay, so is it not possible that a child can deviate from the moral upbringing he or she grew up with?
Very possible.
Okay.
Different schools of thought too on parenting have said there's a limit to what you can do, but the fact is statistics will tell you that the children that were morally brought up have lesser tendencies. So the risk factor, the possible risks of this child falling astray is rare. So yes, there are cases like that, and that's where peer pressure comes in, because it wasn't so from the beginning. That wasn't the way the parents raised him. Probably along the line something happened, he turned to a different city or something, and gradually. So it's possible, but in most cases, rarely.
Okay, so you agree with me that this has eaten so deep into the society. So who is responsible for this moral decadence?
I think everyone has a role to play. We're going to start from the home. I'm sorry, I'm going to be on the parents.
That is the foundation.
That is, the parents are the first role model youth teenagers have. Parents play that role, and we can't exonerate them at this moment. They have that role to play when it comes to raising children, educating them, talking to them. Parents are busy. And sometimes these teenagers, in fact, I was telling someone that it's easier for parents to listen to the lower kids, like the smaller kids, than the bigger ones. They feel like, oh, those ones can sort themselves. Adults. But sometimes those ones just want to talk. They just need someone to listen. A friend of theirs has said something and they want to confirm with daddy. Oh, they want to think, what will mommy think about this? They want to talk. But daddy is not there to listen. Mommy is not there to listen. So parents' role cannot be overemphasized. Another issue, when we have parents, they say you can't give what you don't have.
Yes.
When we have parents who themselves are drug abusers.
So we have parents too who do that.
You're kidding? There are many parents that do it. Let's begin with the prominent ones. We see the excess intake of alcohol. And you come home reeking of alcohol, and that child is gradually taking it as a normal way of life.
Yes, that's true.
So it's difficult for whatever anyone else would say, because the major role model has missed it from the beginning. The child sees taking alcohol as a normal way of life. So with time, the child won't even know the limit. So I always tell parents, if you can, for the sake of raising the next generation, please stay away from alcoholism, drugs, and all the likes. Stay away from them. If you must, please do it far away from home.
From home.
And unfortunately, these teenagers are smart. When you come home, they can smell it.
Yeah.
They even know when that day is so high, so angry.
Okay.
I mean, it begins to, those are all symptoms. You see them come out, so the children would know.
Okay.
They
So,
would know.
does the society also have a role to play in this?
Yes, they do.
Right.
With the society, you and I, the fact is, the popular saying that says one person doesn't raise a child, the whole society does.
Yeah.
So we have our role to play. In the schools, we have our role. Awareness needs to keep going out. We can't stop talking about it. We have to keep talking. We have to keep pushing. I was talking about the effect. Most times we are equally affected.
Yes.
As secondary effects, but we are. Even, I don't know this person, but just a mistake from him can affect or cause another person's life. So society have a role to play. Even this action of glamorizing all of these things, if the society can downplay it a little, that's a major role. They don't see it like that's the life. That's the life we need to arrive. So when society plays its own role, downplay this glamorous living when it comes to alcoholism and the rest of them, at least you are playing a major role for the child, because he or she is no longer seeing it constantly. It's no longer on billboards. It's not all over the place. It's no longer going to become a normalcy for him. So everyone has a role to play.
Okay. So as parents, since they are the role models to these children, so as a parent, what are the signs you see in these children that make you know that, okay, these children are abusing drugs?
A very important question. Before I can answer that, I must state, you can only know this when you're observant. You cannot be an upset father, you will know. So many families have been wrecked under the nostrils of their father and their mothers. And what was going on was going on. So you need to be observant. Now, starting with physical appearance, you begin to see the child gets very negligent about his appearance. He's just looking tattered constantly. Even the child that loves education begins to pay little or no interest to book, or even those working. They are no longer, their work life begins to dwindle. Even socializing becomes a problem. They want to be isolated. For those that have their rooms in the home, you will see them get very angry when siblings rush into their room. Don't you dare try it. This is my room. You begin to notice maybe a calm child suddenly is always angry, or is always on the high side of life. Is it that he's super excited for no reason, or he's excessively angry for no reason? I mean, things that are uncalled for, he's screaming over it. So these are things you also note. And then another thing, when it comes to appearance, look at their eyes. They have that red blood, like very bloodshot eyes. Those are the things, they are red flags.
Okay, so we'll still come back to that. Let's go on this very quick break. We'll be right back.
I'm Tanella, and I'm a mother, a barber, a hairstylist, a model, and I also enjoy doing outdoor activities such as golfing, hunting. I spend a lot of time with my horses outside of the city, as well as when I am in the city, I'm always doing other things like activities with my daughter. And I enjoy watching KINGSPRIMETV because it has so many ways that I can use on my devices. I can use it on my laptop, I can use it on my cell phone, I can use it on my TV, I can use it on the tablet. My daughter can use it while we're driving. It's just so diverse, and I enjoy using it because it inspires me as an Aboriginal person to have that kind of aspect in our culture. KINGSPRIMETV just inspires me. I'm just intrigued.
In Africa and beyond, more and more people are finding KINGSPRIMETV a rich hub for entertainment. With a monthly subscription fee as low as 500 Nigerian Naira or 3,000 Naira annually, you too can enjoy seamless world-class HD entertainment that will inform, educate, entertain, and enthrall you. Join us today. Visit www.kingsprimetv.com to enter into a whole new dimension of entertainment. KINGSPRIMETV. Entertainment just the way you like it.
Welcome back. So we have been talking about youth and drug abuse, and we still have Mrs. Joy Jenyo in their house.
Yeah, you got it now.
Yeah. Okay. So before we went on that quick break, we were talking about signs to show that a child is abusing drugs.
Yes.
So you have talked about observation, and what else? Let's go back
Still
to the
on that,
conversation.
I think the fact that your eyes are on ground,
Okay.
you get to see most of these things.
All
Like
right.
I said earlier on before the break, if you are not observant, all of these things will be happening and you will still not know anything.
Okay.
So you have to keep your eyes focused. Notice the child's work balance. Another thing, they need money to finance this lifestyle. They need money for the drugs. So suddenly money gets missing in the home. You begin to check, find out. Or let's even say a youth who is living alone and constantly looking for who to borrow money from. They are constantly in search for money. I need money. They need money because I hear that these drugs are not cheap to come by.
Okay.
So they need money to afford it, and they can go any length to get it, especially when you see a chronic drug abuser. He goes any length. So when that's another thing that should raise a flag. Constantly this boy is coming to him, mommy, I need money. This girl is coming to mommy, I need money. And even fudging lies, mommy, they say we should get money for this, money for this. Do your own homework. Find out, is this real? And you need to put your ears on ground. Another thing, watch out for their friends. You need to know the circle of people your children work with. You don't just ignore it. You need to know the circle they work with. Who are their friends? Where are their homes? Who are their parents? You need to know this nitty-gritty. They will help you. They will save you a lot. So you can't be an absent parent.
Okay, but you know that I'm just thinking aloud. You know that this can be 100% possible if you're living together with that child. How about a child who's in the university and you're not there 24/7? How do you observe this? How do you find out?
Like I said earlier on, there are some that are home and there are some that are not at home. Those ones that are not at home, you won't say, oh, because my child is in Kwara State or is in Lagos State and I'm in Port Harcourt, let him do his thing. No. As a parent, you're a parent to the latter. I'm not suggesting you follow them constantly, monitoring them. No. But there is a way you can keep tag of your child and you will know what's going on around him. Constant phone calls. And when something is amiss as a parent, you would know, even from conversation.
Okay.
When you know, it's just a natural instinct. You'll be able to tell something is going wrong. Have one or two phone numbers of his friends, especially the ones you have met and you know that they are good. Have their phone numbers. Once in a while, check up on them. Don't just come and ask them, oh, how is my son doing at that point. Call them to know how they are doing. So that when the time comes for you to place that call, there will be you have already created
a relationship
with them. So if there is something going amiss or someone is like, mommy, I'll be talking to Jide, or Jide is not listening, or Jide has been missing class. Oh, how was class today? Oh, it was fine. What's she doing? Jide missed class today. He missed last week. They tell you, they give you such reports. I mean, you should start. You won't say, oh, because they're far away from me, I just hands off and leave them in the hands of the school. No, you have to still do your due diligence.
Okay, so I'm trying to fathom this drug abuse and the misuse of drugs. Is it the same thing?
It usually begins from the misuse.
Okay.
And it graduates to abusing it.
Okay.
If you misuse as a mistake, it's pardonable because it was a mistake. But at that point, when this misuse becomes frequent,
oh, okay,
and that's it. You go from point A to point Q, like I said. When they constantly, let's say they like it the first time, the second time, the third time, and they are doing it, we have graduated to drug abuse.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, even over-the-counter drugs that should actually do something to the body, and you're taking it in the wrong way. We've heard of so many musicians in America, especially, that have died as a result of drug abuse. They needed it for maybe their stage performance to get that feeling of highness, jumping around the stage, and suddenly they cannot do a show without it.
Okay.
And constantly it infiltrates into their daily living. They
now become addicted to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They like that feeling of constantly being high. So even in the bedroom where they should be relaxing, they want to be high. So you see, they move from when that change happens, you rarely know. It moves.
Okay.
It's not, but it happens.
Okay. So nobody wants to get to the level of seeing his or her child gets addicted to drugs. So from the onset, as a parent, how do you make sure that your
Prevent it.
child doesn't get addicted to drugs? How do you prevent drug abuse?
It starts all the way back from the home. Educating, talking, listening, speaking. They say if you don't educate your child, the society will do it for you.
Yes, that's true.
And you may not like the outcome of what the society will do. So that's the number one. Prevention starts from there. You must keep talking. The absolute prevention of drug abuse is not taking drugs at all. Just the way we have the absolute effective contraceptive is abstinence. The same thing for drug abuse, abstinence. Totally making sure that it does not infiltrate your home. And that you can do with educating. It's difficult when a thing has been hampered into somebody over the years. It has become a normal lifestyle. It's difficult for that child to derail.
Okay.
So that's the major prevention you can do.
Okay. So as a parent, what age is there a particular age bracket for you to start talking to these children?
These days, because of what the society has gifted us with now, so many scenarios we see, even starting from sex education, we start as early as 5 years, 3 years. Now there are cartoons for sex education. So it is a menace to the society, so is drug abuse. So don't wait for when, the child, as long as you know this child can hear, can comprehend, look for a way to send the message home. I was preparing for this interview, and my son was like, "What are you preparing for?" I said, "Okay, I'll be talking about drug abuse." I said, "Drug abuse? Oh, mommy, it's bad." I was like, "Tell me more." He kept lecturing me and telling me all the things the teacher told him in school. I was like,
Wow, that's
"Okay,
cool.
that means at least that knowledge is there.
It's there, yeah.
I can keep pushing it. I will keep, like I agreed with him immediately. Very good. It's very bad. Now he knows from school and he knows from home. So that point, you just keep pushing.
Okay. So for people who are now addicted to these drugs, how do they get out of it?
The first thing first, they need to want to get out.
Okay.
It's difficult to stage an intervention. In fact, most times when we stage interventions for them, they don't want it. They're not even aware that they are drug abusers. They are
That's another thing.
Most of them are not aware. Some of them are in denial. Oh, I just use little, or just little. It's just this one. I just took this one. Most of them are not aware that they have graduated to the level of becoming drug abusers.
Yeah.
They just think, oh, it's just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So they will, first of all, we have to want it. When he or she realizes, I'm a drug abuser, I need to change this lifestyle, then we stage an intervention for him. Even those that are not aware, you stage an intervention. You get a medical professional, get a social health worker, family and friends and loved ones, and then sit down and make him or her understand that just draw a picture. Let him see the possible end outcome of this lifestyle. And ask him or her, is this how you want to end up? Is this what you want? Is this the vision you've always envisioned your life to turn out to be? And then create a way. Let him or her be ready to subject himself to therapy. And it goes on from there.
Okay, so let's talk about the effects of drug abuse. I know that, just like they say, there are so many, everything that has an advantage has a disadvantage. So we know that for some people, they feel that there's an advantage of taking these drugs.
They do.
It makes them high. I've seen someone who said that without taking these drugs, he can't read. He can't really read. And to him, that is the advantage. So let's talk about the effects of drug abuse.
No, before I go into the effect, let me take a cue from what you said. When people begin to have insomnia, and they begin to say, oh, if I don't take this drug, I can't sleep. Insomnia is another sickness that usually leads people into drug abusing. They constantly need it. So even the times when the body is physically capable of falling asleep, mentally, they feel like if they don't take this, they can't sleep. So abusing has started there. But let's go to the effects of drug abuse. We have, of course, the health effects. There are so many, I can't even list so many health challenges you can get from just abusing drugs. Should we start from the brain? The central nervous system is affected. Those things, the excess dopamine is released to the brain, and then that feeling of highness, you don't know, you have no idea what it's doing to the brain. Kidney is affected. We're talking about liver, so many organs in the body. They will begin to find you insomnia, like it's another thing. They can't sleep. They begin to suffer so many types of sicknesses. Even their physical body begins to take another. In fact, it leads me to the fact, I don't think I mentioned this during when we're talking about the symptoms. Another thing is either gaining weight or losing weight.
Okay.
Those are physical effects of some of these drugs. So you begin to find out that he or she is gaining excessive weight, unhealthy weight, or it's just becoming lanky and lanky and lanky. So the effect can go on and on. It can affect even your behavior, excessive aggressive nature. You begin to, it goes as far as to suicide.
Yeah.
People kill themselves, kill others, murder, and we can't exhaust the list.
Okay, so as parents, what is that extra thing you need to do to make sure that your child doesn't get involved in this?
The fact is, like we said earlier on, there is so much you can do, and it's still dependent on the child. But as the parent, you have to do all that let it be certified that you can beat your chest and say, I've done all that is needed. And that's all of those things we've mentioned. And you keep doing it. Don't do it today and stop. Consistency.
So how about the society? What role, too, does the society have to play?
Let's start with the government, because the government will have a role to play.
Yeah.
When the government understands that these things tend to affect everyone is affected. I mean, somebody driving under the influence of alcohol hits another person, kills him. He has affected another home, maybe taking away a breadwinner from that home, and you have rendered them fatherless or a widow. You've made the woman a widow. So all of this is affect the society. So the government needs to put a very good check, starting from the sources of these drugs.
Okay.
I think of the so far progress the NDLEA have been having concerning this, but they have to keep at it. They need to cut the source of these drugs. Some of them are imported into the country. Some of them, I mean, they need to cut it. They need to keep at it and make sure that an end comes to it.
Okay, so now earlier on you talked about a child being withdrawn is also a sign. Okay, so for a parent and you notice that your child is being withdrawn, what at that point, how do you make this child become so confident to talk to you?
Now, withdrawal as teenagers is also a sign of being a moody teenager. You understand? So you need to be able to draw that line of him being a typical teenager and a possible drug abuser.
Okay.
So when you're able to establish it and you find out that, okay, this is tilting towards a possible drug abuser, that is where you begin to, all hands must be on deck.
Okay, so all hands must be on deck. All right, guys, the conversation still continues. Let's go on this very quick break. We'll be right back.
My name is Bukola. I'm a dedicated wife. I'm blessed with 2 beautiful children. I am the creator and the creative director of In Between I Stand. And the beautiful thing about the King's Prime TV is it's an app. I can decide to use it on my television. I can decide to use it on my phone. And of course I have an iPad. I can decide to use it on my iPad. There is no boring moment with the King's Prime TV, especially the way it gets me close to my culture day by day. I'm a busy mom and sometimes I just want to be on my bed alone with my laptop watching the King's Prime TV. It is the best thing ever. And I'm not connected to just one aspect of the King's Prime TV. I could decide to watch TV shows like The Big Nigerian Wedding or probably go for a series. Lots of beautiful things on the King's Prime TV.
In Africa and beyond, more and more people are finding King's Prime TV, a rich hub for entertainment. With a monthly subscription fee as low as $7.99 US, you too can enjoy seamless, world-class HD entertainment that will inform, educate, entertain, and enthrall you. Join us today. Visit KingsPrimeTV.com to enter into a whole new dimension of entertainment. King's Prime TV. Entertainment just the way you like it.
Welcome back. Okay, so we're talking about making a child. How do you make a child become so confident to talk to you about him being addicted to drugs?
Okay, so when you have established the fact that this is it, he or she is tilting towards being a drug abuser. Unfortunately, what will help you at that point is the existing rapport you have with your child.
Oh, okay.
It's not at that point to start building rapport that have not existed. If there was no relationship from the beginning, it's difficult at this point. However, all hope is not lost. Now that you know that this child, let's assume you don't have a very good rapport and you know he or she may not come to you. So you're going to have to look for ways to reach him. If it means getting somebody you know he listens to, if it means staging an intervention, whatever method, but you need to reach the child. If he doesn't come to you, look for who he or she can go to, but you need to get information.
All right. So you know that there are some times where, just like you said, peer pressure. So if you notice that a particular child is addicted to drugs, and how do you tell your own child to stay away from that child? How do you make your child know that, okay, this particular friend is going to influence you badly?
Okay, so you know your child, you know who you have raised, and you know the values you placed in him. So it's not about saying...
But you know that children change. People change. They say change is constant.
We all change. But one thing that is very difficult to change is existing values that have been placed in. It can change quite well, but it's going to take a lot to change it. It's very strong. That's why it's always good to start from infancy. So you know this child, and you know, oh, coming to tell him stay away from Matthew, is this bad, is this, will only make him question your judgment or something like that. So you're going to have to, parents will have to be smart about it. Don't come and tell them stay away. You're going to have to call him or her, sit him down, or there's another method. This is this person's lifestyle. Does it tally with yours? So this something? What do you think? Systematically, let him or her give you what he or she thinks. You'll be surprised. I tell you, I don't like the way he's behaving. I don't want to be around him anymore. And then you can push it home and say, that's good. So choose your friends wisely.
Wisely, of course.
You can't be found around these people. They may influence you, and this is a possible outcome if they do. So what do you think you should do? From beginning, stay away. Don't you think so? And the child will agree with you because he or she even suggested it. But don't just come and give them, like some authoritative parents, stay away from him. Stay. It won't work. It won't work.
Okay, so we know that I'm a Christian, you are a Christian. So churches, do they also have a role to play?
Like the society, like every aspect, every section, every segment of the society, religion has its own role to play, even for Christians, even for Muslims, and that is awareness. You have to keep talking about it. Talk about it in every sphere of life. Talk about it in the church. Don't shy away from it. These teenagers come to church.
Yes, they do.
So why won't you take the message to them in church? So constant awareness. That's the role the church, the religion houses, all of them have their role to play.
Okay, so for a child who sees his father or his mother abuse drugs, is it 100% possible that this child will end up like the father or the mother?
Well, there have been cases where, in fact, the children choose to be opposites because of what they saw. They always say, psychologists always say, we are always a result of our childhood. Now, there have been cases, and it could be good or bad. For instance, a child who grew up seeing his father beating his mother and doesn't like it may make a vow never
to beat.
So even when he's pushed to the wall, because of that childhood decision or the childhood effect, he doesn't. So there could be people, there could be children who have seen their parents do this, abuse drugs, and they will make up their mind that they would never. So those ones are there, yes, it's possible. But there are, in most cases, when they see this as normal, they tend to tilt that line too.
Okay, so as a child specialist, I'm sure that you've worked with some of these children. So can you just share your experience?
Well, by virtue of my work, I volunteer and I work with them. We get to talk to them. We through awareness, constantly talking about it. For those who have the confidence to share with us. They tell us about the streets. It begins from the streets, as funny as it is.
Okay.
They tell us about the streets, and usually they entice them with money.
Oh.
It's usually money, especially that's why socioeconomic factors cannot be ruled out.
Yeah.
They always target those ones that either don't have or have too much, as funny as it is. Either have too much or don't have. So they entice those ones that don't have, and then those ones that have, they also they take advantage of them in that regard too. So for those that are on the street, they entice them with money. Oh, we'll give you so money if you just carry it. They begin with selling. They begin with transporting. Give it from point A to point B. And gradually they want to try, what is this thing I'm even transporting?
Yeah.
So gradually, like I said, once you start, you keep doing, it's difficult to break away. Like every other addiction, that's how it begins. So we've seen cases like that. They tell us this is it, this is how they started, this is their parents' reaction, and then some parents don't help matters. You ban the child, send the child out of the home. You have just sent him into the lion's mouth. Send him out of the home. Does it solve the problem?
No.
You have just thrown him back to wherever he's coming from and say, eat him up. So some parents react badly to incidents like this. They are not enlightened enough to know the steps to take to recover their children. So in anger, oh, I raised you better than this, they send the child back, and it just goes bad from there. Okay. So parents, some of them, their parents reacted that way. So when we have field work like that, we take them in. Sometimes we also stage intervention for them, bring their parents, we educate their parents too. So they must know the role they played and the role they can't play now. And it goes on from there. So we've seen different stories, different lifestyles. We are happy to know that some are doing well, some others absconded. That's another thing. Some of them will just run, and they prefer to live on the streets.
Why? Is there a reason for that?
Well, the enticement is just too much that they cannot neglect. They cannot turn it down.
Okay. Why you explaining? You said those that are confident enough to open up to you. So for those children who are not confident enough, how do we
reach them?
Yes.
How do we reach them? The fact is, we also work with information.
Okay.
Maybe their teachers or caregivers or people around them will tell us what they suspect. And we try to befriend them, and of course some of them would not, they don't even want the relationship. We don't just give up on them, we keep trying. We break into their shell with time. It may take a long time. Consistency is always the key, but we keep at it. At least we know where they stay, we know, and gradually they begin to open up. So some others are tougher to reach, but we still reach them.
Okay. So how do you make them confide in you?
Relationship.
I mean, you just see somebody somewhere, and then you tell the person to have.
Is
there a special thing or a strategy?
It's something that happens over time. Okay. When we target you and we know that this is the lifestyle and we know our mission concerning you, so the strategy is we've got to befriend you.
Okay.
It's not something that happens within a short period of time. It happens over time. We get to know you, get to gain your confidence. That point where you can trust us. Okay. So it doesn't just happen. It's a systematic thing. It takes time, but we are at it.
Okay. So what's your advice to parents?
I mean, I could go on and on about parents. I've been talking about them.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, the first role model. As I talk, I just wish parents would understand the role they play. They need, for those who are not educated, for those who are not knowledgeable, who are not enlightened, get knowledge. Knowledge, you need it. You need information. Information, they say, is power. You need to be enlightened. You need to know, so that when you see this, it doesn't come unawares to you. So parents, get enlightened. Be every hands on deck. Be available. Be very available. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, be available in all aspects, and then listen to them.
Oh, okay. So this children too, this youths, what do you have to say to them too?
They say you own your life. The decision is in your hands. There is a little to which the society can do. There is a little to what the parents can do. At last, the decision is yours. Make the choices, they are yours. So what choice you make today will determine what you will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's to the youth. Choose right.
Choose right. And for them to choose right, their parents need to train them.
They need to be aware.
Okay, so of course, the society, that there's something everybody needs to know. So what's your final word to the society?
Well, we can't, I know times are hard, times are different, and everyone wants to pursue their own thing. But we all have a role to play. When you keep throwing your eyes away from that child, tomorrow it's that child that may be used against you.
But you know that this thing about throwing your way, there's this common thing now, this norm. They said, mind your business. For me, I don't know if you will agree with me. Is it the reason why there's so much
moral decadence in
yeah?
the society? I agree with you. I am in that school of thought with you. The fact is, in our father's times, when on the street they see a child, oh, come on, would you go back to your father's house?
Yes.
You know, we are not saying they should do it that way now, but there are other more civilized ways of getting involved. If you cannot go outright, give information to the necessary authority.
Yeah.
Don't just throw your face away.
Okay.
You see that child doing drugs in that corner and you think, it's not my business, let me be going my way. Tomorrow, that child may carry knife and visit your home and it becomes your business. So the little you may not, if you don't have the confidence of walking up to the parents, some parents can be funny, mind your own business too.
Yes,
you know,
they do that
so
a lot.
we see that. If you don't have that, go to a social worker. Go to anybody of authority, get the police, anybody. Just make your report and get them to investigate. But don't just throw your face away and fold your hands and say you have no business. My dear, you have business.
Of course, everybody has a role to play. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Welcome.
Wow, I have learned a lot. Of course, that is the essence of this show. It is an educative show and an informative and, of course, a fun-filled show. I'm sure you've learned a lot. It is important to know that parents, you have a huge role to play. And, of course, the society, too, has a role to play. And you out there, the youth, you know that it is your life. It is your health that is at stake. So for everyone out there, please, drug abuse is a no for everyone out there. Thank you so much for sticking with us, and you can catch up this episode and previous episodes on our Kings Prime TV app. All you have to do is download the Kings Prime TV app on the Google Store or the iOS Store, and voila, you have everything you want, plus thousands and thousands of movies for you to watch. Until next time, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called Kings Prime TV. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. My name is Joy Dixon, and it has been a wonderful time with you guys. Thank you for sticking with us. Bye for now.